This is day 204 of startup. So people say that the best way to improve your product, to know what to build next, what issues to resolve, is to see your users actually using the product live, seeing their facial expressions, seeing their what they're liking, what they're disliking, instead of just asking them for feedback. So that's, I think, really true, because my co-founder today went again to this cold calling team in India. So it's a real estate team, it's a team of real estate sellers. He has been to that office multiple times before. I think today was his third time. So he has not yet installed his software on their computer. So he has got rapport with one of the girls there who uses his software, our software, every time he goes. So he usually takes his laptop with him, where he gets her to use the software on his own laptop. Instead of, we have not installed it on their system, because they have to still buy some kind of a calling software. They just, on their own, when they call, they just call using their phones, not using the PC. So they will either have to buy Skype or some other Twilio or some other VoIP subscription service to be able to use our software on their own. But my co-founder can always go, and so today he went. So she pulled out a list of prospects to call, which was not her like the A or B list, was a C or D list, which means that a lower priority list. She did not have much expectations from it, and it's usually a longer list. So because of that, she was in a mood to make. So usually for their C or D list, they do not have their usual intro, which is usually a longer intro where they put in a lot of value and takes around 20 seconds to deliver that opening intro. But for these C and D prospects, they just quickly ask in the second sentence whether they are interested in a real estate property after. So yeah, it doesn't go too long. So both my co-founder and the girl thought that maybe our software will not be much useful there, because our software is about recording these long scripts that you have to speak again and again, and be able to play them during the live calls, so that you don't have to speak them again and again. But when your script itself is just 1 or 2 lines long, then what's the use? But anyway, since he had already gone there, he thought that if she makes calls using this tool, we will at least get some data on the usability, how we can improve it on the usability front. So yes, they made the calls. They had a list of around 30 numbers, which is not much, but they lasted around 1 hour. Most of the calls were pretty short, as expected. Most people said no in the first opening line itself. And at the end of the session, like, based on her body language, my co-founder wasn't much hopeful that there will be any positive feedback. And also, like, it made sense, right? But at the same time, even though there wasn't much to hear in the compliments sense, he could actually observe her use the product, and he could observe that she had some amount of difficulty in switching back and forth between Skype and our software. So she had to enter the number on the Skype and then immediately switch back to our software to be able to play the scripts, and then go back to Skype to manage the call. And often she would forget to restart the script when making a new call. So these were some of the issues that we observed, and we discussed like what we can do to solve them in the minimalistic way. We do not want to really go too heavy on it yet. Using, of course, AI can be one solution that automatically manages these things. Or in future, I also believe that we need to integrate the calling software in our software. But of course, as a startup, we cannot just directly suddenly increase our like scope of work. So yeah, we were thinking of some quick ideas of how to improve. Maybe if you have ideas, you can tell me. But anyways, he was not expecting any good feedback, but still he asked as a courtesy and as a rule at the end, like, so how was your experience of using that product today? I understand that you did not get much value out of it, but because most of the scripts were pretty small, probably you would have done better by just speaking. But she said, no, actually, it's interesting because my mouth didn't hurt today. uh, so this was pretty shocking to hear that, because hey, whose mouth hurts at just 20 minutes of calling, right? Like, of course, so there was 1 hour of calling, but maybe a talk time of 20 or 30 minutes in that, because most of the calls were not going long. Some people were not also picking up. Maybe I would say maximum 30 minutes of talk time. Now we talk 30 minutes all the time. Our mouth doesn't hurt. But it seemed like it's usual for her mouth to hurt. But it even sounds weird to hear that word. But then I thought that, hey, when people are making cold calls, then it's not like a normal conversation where you are comfortable talking to a friend and the words just flow out of your mouth like water flowing down the waterfall. But you have to really force these words out against an unfriendly environment where you are pretty nervous, pretty you have inhibitions and you're facing rejection. So I think it takes a lot of psychic energy to just be able to talk in that environment. So yeah, that puts so that feedback actually put a new faith for us also. It's a new validation, because it's not just like when we have long scripts then the prod can be useful. Even for the short scripts, it seems like it saves the energy of the caller. So yeah, I think this was a informative session for us. We'll continue to do more of this, going to the users to see their usage live, and also continue to reach out more prospects on the in USA to figure out what can be our like paid, how to get paid users and stuff. Anyways, that's it for today.